All right, we're on. Welcome back to another episode of Wicked Tuna Real Talk. Yes, all of the episodes of Wicked Tuna are available now on YouTube. Great way to watch, reconnect with the show. And I got a couple of captains with me again today. I got Paul and at least one of the Daves. I never remember which one. I screw that up all the time. But it doesn't matter. It's a Dave. That's all you need to know. And it's good to have you guys again as we are back for the second episode of the big breakup, the big conscious uncoupling, the big divorce between you two guys, which it is really not like it's a lot easier to see it now, knowing that the years of friendship beforehand we're only interrupted for a little while because it leads to this almost better friendship, it feels like now.
It is stronger and better, yeah.
It really is.
I love that. I love that part of the story. And I think there's like a nice hopeful element to that for other people and, you know, other grudges. And this episode is called Grudge Match. It didn't really turn into a grudge, though. I think that's kind of the nice thing. In the moment, it could have become a grudge thing. But instead, it was almost more, again, like a hiccup, just momentary motivation maybe for both of you.
Yeah, we separated on the water, but we did not separate as friends.
Right. We still drank together. We had lunches together. Celebrated our catches.
Yeah. And we go on vacation together. Where do we go on vacation? On a cruise ship.
Yeah.
I was on a ship for 7 days.
Right back on the boat.
You get on that cruise ship. Are you asking the guys if you could go maybe throw a little line off the back or something?
It's so nice. I'm going again.
Are you? I like the idea of you being on the cruise ship with a line and being like, no, neutral. No, bring it back to the left. Bring it left. Go forward. The captain of the cruise ship was down like, what is this lunatic doing back there?
It's nice because what we look for, Dave and I both, we look for the quietest place on the ship. So we can be left alone and just
not by the pool with the kids.
So isn't like the whole, you know what? I'm not going to get into why you would then go on a cruise ship, but that seems
just during the day. It's just while. During the day, it's awesome.
All right. I mean, like there's plenty of islands you could just fly to and then you just be by yourself.
Yeah. But it's nice to cruise around. The girls love it.
So one of the things that I think is interesting, and we talked in the last Real Talk about the breakup and why it went down and, you know, some of the behind the scenes element of it. But in this episode, we hear maybe some other rumors that maybe it's not just about what's going on the boat. The money side of it starts to at least get insinuated at here. And Paul, you say that the reason you left was because you didn't think you were being paid fairly. We didn't really talk about that last time, and maybe that part of the story gets left out. But was there a financial issue?
Not when you have two guys, like I know now, when you have two mates. Because when it was just Dave and I, you got paid like a full share. Mm-hmm. When you have two mates, you can't do that. It's not feasible for his boat. It doesn't work out. You can't give half of because we did it solely for the tuna money. 100%. That's why we were there. And that's what drove us. Because when you caught one, it was all about the victory and the money.
Okay.
So when have to cut your money in half, that's hard. You know, but it's feasible because you're doing half the work.
Well, and I'm sure you think...
Like when I wasn't there, Sandro got a good...
Correct, yeah.
Right?
Right.
So when it was three of us, we all made less money because they got a little less pay.
And it was tough.
And I had to pay out a little more.
Right? Yeah.
But when there's two of you, you know, it's more money for me, it's more money for the deckhand.
It could have been on any boat, but it would have been that same feeling, like you don't make enough when you're one guy, when you're two guys.
All right, so fine. I don't know if that's unfair as much as maybe frustrating, right? It doesn't feel unfair that there's a third person on the boat.
Not one boat.
But it's interesting. You then go to the other boat, you go to the bounty hunter, and there's going to be three people on that boat too. So was he offering you...
Yeah, but it was a different percentage.
So he offered you more money?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, just for that time.
Okay. Was it 50%? Because that comes out that maybe he's offering you 50%.
No.
Was he? I mean, that's what's said there. The rumor is Billy was paying Paul 50% to work on the boat.
It was good, but it was just for the time being.
Look at the guilty smile. Well, I mean, I think I'm going to have to dig in a little further on that.
It was just for a little while, just to finish out the season with him.
Okay, and maybe...
To tune him up.
Right, and that's sort of what we talk about.
Tuna him up. Tuna him up.
Yeah, thanks, dad joke over here. That's great. That's what we needed. When you leave the one-liners to the other Dave, he's maybe better at those. Which Dave is that again?
Marciano.
Yeah, all right, good. He needed a consultant. So would you view it as you got paid your normal share for the work you did on the boat, just a little bit extra for the advice and everything else that you were bringing to a struggling boat?
That's pretty much. I mean, it was just for, he couldn't pay me that a whole year. You couldn't do that.
Okay.
It was just like, there was like a week or so left for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I'll give you this.
Help me get out of the hole.
Yeah.
It's so funny that after all of that, essentially all you realize is that he's just not doing anything. Like, yeah, here's what you need to do. Fish. I mean, like, the idea that he...
Pretty simple.
Well, he was stuck. You got to remember, the guy that was with him, like, it falls on your back, right? It weighs on you. It's like, God, I can't do this anymore. I'm too tired. Like, I can't do this. I'm exhausted. So Scotty was very hard, like, not positive. And Billy's usually a very positive, happy man. But he was very down, like, and he realized it after.
That he was kind of feeding off Scotty's energy.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the way it is on a boat.
That's how it is. You need to have all that vibe, all that positivity. You have to have that.
And we'll get more into them in a little bit.
You won't be successful if you're not.
Yeah, I like that part of this. And I think there's a lot of conversation around those two. And it's too bad they didn't last on the show longer, because in some ways it stands as a great contrast to everything else that's going on. And I get it can be kind of a depressing story, and maybe they didn't want to keep going on it, and it's sort of embarrassing for him. But it does, I like the way it shows the contrast, and in some ways shows how hard you guys are working and makes you guys look even better. Like, hey, it's not just luck. He's not just accidentally not catching fish. There's a lot of hard work involved.
A lot of hours.
Yeah.
And not giving up.
You also said, though, Paul, here that Dave was paying you less this season than in other seasons. Was that just because he had added Sandro
we had
that year?
another guy, yeah.
So that was the first year you guys did it with 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we used to just
fish together. Just him and I, we used to crush him.
Right. So why did you bring Sandro on?
Because he wasn't there full time. I needed someone full time.
And Sandro said, hey, I don't want to come on part time. If you're going to bring me on, I want to be on full time because I want a full time job.
Yep.
And you said, that's worth it to me. Well, I'll take a little bit less. We'll do a little bit less work.
I think all the decisions that he made for his business were key. The best.
And you got
for all of us, really.
When you take on a third guy, you pay out a little more. The deckhand makes a little less.
Right.
But because you have 3 people, that can be the difference between catching that 1 or 2 fish
and losing
it if you only had 2.
Right.
So the extra that you make in catching those additional fish because you have that extra guy,
it pays off.
Will pay off.
Was that a decision? Because this is obviously the same as the first season of Wicked Tuna. Did that factor into your decision to go to 3? Hey, we're going to be on TV. I want to be even, I want to make sure we win this thing. Or had you already made that call to add another person?
No, I mean, I do like fishing with 3. Okay. But as for just going for the TV show portion of it, Sandro, love him, but he's very quiet. And the producers really needed more chatter on the boat to capture those moments.
More interaction.
Yeah, if Sandro and I just sat on the boat, it's pretty quiet, but we needed more interaction between the crew.
Dave's pretty much talking to himself.
So did you know anybody that would talk a lot on a boat?
Him.
I mean, it almost had to be.
That's how we got on the show.
When we interviewed,
that's how we got on the show.
No kidding.
I don't want to take up the whole time, but when we interviewed for the show, the cameramen were there. We had 10 boats at the marina, and they had a right at the end of the dock, up on the ramp in the end of the parking lot, top of the dock. They had the cameraman, and somebody was doing the interviews. So it was our turn to go. So Paul went first. He went up to the dock. Sandro and I were sitting on the boat, just looking up there, and we were waiting for our turn. So we're watching, we're just kind of, the first time the camera's going around, we're kind of seeing what's going on up there. And all I could see is the cameraman just laughing his ass off. And whoever was doing the interviews, I can't remember his name, had the paper there with the questions, and he was just had his head, he was trying not to laugh because he didn't want to talk over Paul. But Paul was just going, hands are going all over the place.
He was out of it. He's like, do you have any brothers? I was like, yeah, I got 5 brothers. He goes, can we call them right now?
They're a spin-off of the whole family.
He's like, where's your boat? I go, I don't have any boat. I have broken legs. I just got out of rehab. I was like, Dave called me. He's like, all right, let's go down to his boat. And he went down to his boat.
Yeah, we didn't know what he was saying. And then they come down, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready. And whoever was
goes,
doing it,
"We
he
don't
goes,
need
we don't
anything."
even need you. You guys are on the show.
You're already on the show.
I never even interviewed, either did Sandro.
That's hilarious. So they
Based
didn't
on-
even know what you had.
They didn't care.
So
it was him.
That's so funny. So, if I were you in that situation beforehand, right, when they call you, and we've kind of gone through that story, as they called you and said, hey, we want you. And at first they couldn't get a hold of you, right? You thought it was a spam call.
They were
or
sending out
something.
emails to anyone
Right.
that had a tuna website.
Right. And Dave was like, this is all BS. I'm not going to go do this. Anyway, if I'm you and I'm like, hey,
Thought it was a
reality TV
bill
show
collector.
wants to maybe cast somebody to be in the show. You know who I got to get on my team is the craziest person I know who's going to be like a reality dream, right?
And he is.
So did you bring him to that interview?
No, he
knowing
was
they'd love him?
ready. He was already fishing with me.
Okay.
But, a little bit of it, yeah. I mean, I always say he's my friend, but Paul is definitely a couple French fries short of a Happy Meal.
We were
And
doing
he-
like little weekends here and there with some charters because I couldn't do a lot. I had a lot of problems with my legs.
Right.
Little at a time that spring. Remember we did some cod
Yeah, cod
trips. And it was good. Like I could stand up a little bit, but if it was rough, I'd have a really hard time.
Dave, I'm sure at no point in your life before this happened did you ever think you would be on reality TV.
Absolutely not.
Right. It
No,
never
no,
dawned on
never
you, not
crossed-
for
never
a
crossed my
split
mind.
second.
Never crossed my
ever.
mind. Never.
Paul, did it ever dawn
All
on you?
it had to do was come to me and I would be on. All I needed was the
You
opportunity.
were waiting for this for years, weren't you?
Yeah.
Because people, I bet you, people must
100%.
have told you your whole life, hey man, you got to be on, as soon as whatever the first reality TV show was, Survivor, whatever the heck it was, people must have been like, all right, Paul, you're going to have to do this one day.
100%.
Really? People would tell you that.
No, it was just a matter. It was just a matter. Even when we would go out to eat,
You're the one who
we
said
would go
it.
out to eat, and we'd be in a restaurant, and we'd be laughing our asses off, and people around in the back are also laughing, just listening at him.
Right. Well, and watching him too.
Yeah,
Because the
oh,
funny
yeah.
thing about Paul is you don't even need to be in the earshot. You can just
Yeah.
see
Oh,
the
yeah.
craziness
Oh, yeah.
all written all over his face and body and everything else.
Yeah.
Is that, I don't mean to get too deep into it, but is it hard to live up to that all the time? Like, because everyone expects that of you. Every time you walk into a room, everyone expects you to be full on Paul.
But that's Paul.
But I know, but is there ever times where you want to be like, guys, I'm just tired.
Sleeping?
I'm not up to being Paul right now. I can't do it.
I
I'm
get
too tired.
tired.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Okay.
No, only kidding.
But like,
No, I
is it
get
ever hard to
tired
be
and
on?
Very low key sometimes.
no,
Yeah.
Paul is. There's no in between. Paul. Paul is either
I have a
Paul
lot of-
or he's
or
asleep.
sleep.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, when I go to sleep, I'm out in 10 seconds.
You're like a puppy.
Done.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
There's two speeds.
I can
So
even.
it never gets tiring for you. You're never just like, hey guys, I'm not up for being the life of the party right now. I just gotta be.
I just
no, he
won't-
just falls asleep. There's no.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You could
Right.
mid sentence he's asleep.
He just turns it
That's
off.
it. You're
Shuts
at
it
the
down.
house.
Talking, right?
At the house,
later.
like when we go down in the bunk, Sandro's on watch. I could be talking to him like this, and then I ask him a question, and there's no response. I just, that's it.
He's done.
He's not quieting down. It's just instant.
smoked.
Oh,
Because the battery wears
That's
out.
it.
And it
It's
just
when I stop.
Yeah.
When I stop, when
Yeah.
I go get off my feet, that's it. It's game over.
Is it adrenaline for you? Are you an adrenaline guy? Like, and I don't mean like jumping out of planes,
I
but
just
just like you run
have energy.
on all of that energy.
I used to have
and then it
it.
wipes you out.
I used to have a lot of energy, and I did
Aging.
everything to the extent.
Yeah.
The extreme.
I don't know enough about your story to know, and maybe you don't want to talk about it. A lot of people who are like that end up kind of getting into drugs, et cetera, to kind of help with the ups and the downs, or to keep them in that way, or to get them out of that. Is that part
Never
of your
had a
life?
problem.
Never.
I don't even take Motrin.
Really? Just because,
Lots of water.
yeah. And that's great. I mean, that's a rare story. A lot of
Yeah.
people with that personality type, I think
Yeah.
can get caught up in that because they want to,
I was on a lot of medicine
for
with my
everybody.
legs back in the day.
right. And so
But
that
I
kinda
would get
scares you off of
really
that.
sick. I got really, really
So it's
sick
always
to my
lucky, right?
stomach.
Because it keeps you away from that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
My doctor in Vermont wanted me to be a motivational speaker
Yeah.
at the hospital that he with his patients.
Would you go see him be a motivational speaker? Did he
Well, it's
did he
just how to
motivate
get
you
better.
every
I
day?
got to put some thought into that.
No, what it was these people were relying on the doctors and meds to
Uh-huh.
get better. You have to do the work.
Right.
You're going to get better if you do the work. the more you do, the better you'll get.
Well, and that attitude is probably one of the things that draws you guys together, right? And Dave, you and Dave and I have talked about the respect you guys have for each other, and one of the reasons why the opposites work there. You guys aren't quite as opposite as the two Daves are, but that shared hard work and respect has to be a big part of the reason two people that are pretty different are able to work together as much as you
and
did.
we did it for a long time, and we still do it.
Yeah.
Still work together.
We're both very organized.
Yeah.
Very organized. You look at each boat.
Oh, it's incredible. My boat and his
Fastidious.
boat, OCD. Both
Yeah.
of us have OCD.
Really?
You cannot walk on our boat and move something out of its place without us knowing it.
I think I know, Dave, what Ralph does for you, right? I mean, he's an entertaining guy. He's fun. He's sweet. He's loyal. There's a lot of this episode, maybe notwithstanding, but like there's a lot. I understand what it is that you get from your friendship. I think from Paul. What do you get from your friendship with Dave?
You get a lot of help. He's helped me through my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not many people know this, but through like buying my house, through like, because I made a little money, I put it away and I would invest it. Dave would give me some guidance with that. So pretty much through every aspect, building the boat, the house, investments, my future, retirement. Like, I would ask Dave about all of it.
Where do you think you'd be right now if it wasn't for Dave?
I don't know. I probably would have blew all my money. And I'd be selling my boat out there in the corner. $50 over here.
Big for sale sign over there. A boat that you probably wouldn't have even had.
You got to make decisions. And someone like me, I never had, like, we did well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also that person that didn't go out and blow my money.
Right.
I saved every dime, all of it. I don't go to bars. I don't do any of that.
Uh-huh.
You know, so.
Dave, from your perspective, you know, we've come across some really nice stories about you and maybe some of the stuff you've done behind the scenes throughout the Wicked Tuna time, whether it was making the offer to Marciano we talked about, or we get into that in the next episode, but what he did, he brought it up earlier, whether it's all the stuff you've done later for Sandro and helping him and getting him to flight school and all that stuff. So he's now becoming a pilot. Obviously what you've done here as well with Paul. I think a lot of that has to be just, you're a nice guy and you said that you do a lot of things for your friends. Is there a sense of pride that you take? You don't have kids. Is there an element of getting to see these people kind of succeed that works for you?
It's rewarding.
Yeah.
It's rewarding.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, just to, you know, I want to see Marciano fail. He didn't take the money, but I just wanted to offer to him, get him back on his feet. But he had alternative means and it worked for him. You know, with Paul, just he's my friend. I feel like he would do that for me. I've had people help me out in the past with many of different things, both family members and acquaintances. Just feel like it's the right thing to do, you know, pay it forward. And now Sandro, following in my footsteps, becoming a pilot.
Same thing.
You know, just to watch
Guiding him.
Yeah, it's just, again, he's not my kid,
In the best
but he
way.
is. I never had kids, and I look at him as my surrogate son. And, you know, like tomorrow's going to be a big day. He's going to solo tomorrow. And I'm unfortunately
Solo
not going to
fly.
be there. He's going to fly the airplane by himself for the first time. I wanted to be there, but I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm leaving tonight, right after we're done here, to go back to flight training. I got another 20-something days. I really wish I could be there. But that's a big moment. And that's, yeah, just to watch him grow and mature, to watch Paul be successful. You know, yeah, that means a lot to me. And it's rewarding. Just as, you know, helping them out and getting that back in return makes me feel good about myself. And I'm just happy to see everybody succeed. And I know these guys would do the same thing for me. Therefore, I pay it forward to them.
100%.
If Sandro's a surrogate son, he's a surrogate what over here?
Oh, no.
When I broke my legs,
Yeah.
that was it for me. I never, ever, I even told you that. I never thought I'd be able to. Like, when he called me, I was like, dude, I don't know if I can get on a boat. I don't know if I could do the ocean thing. He's like, just come down and try it. We'll do a couple trips and blah, blah, blah. We went out a couple times. I did all right. Hung in there, had troubles in the morning getting up.
getting on and off the boat.
Getting on and off the boat. I had some troubles, but I did it when people weren't around.
I remember you came down on the boat that one day because you're back. You had a 10-pound bag of ice.
Ice on me. I got from Bill Monty.
Yeah, wedged in between his belt there and his lower back.
Just because the only way you could do it.
Well, I sat down and it took me like 7 hours to get here.
Jeez.
It's only a 3-hour ride because I had to stop, get out of the car.
Lay down, do the whole deal.
Yeah, because I had braces on my legs.
Jeez. What a challenge.
Yeah, but I got here.
Well, so, I mean, some of that,
this happened.
I know, but some of
this
that
is like
backstory
unbelievable.
makes it really interesting when you guys break up. And I know you're mad in that moment, but like, you're cursing, you're coming up with new curse words that, they can't even, I don't even know. I mean, I guess they're bleeped, but I'm pretty sure you're making up words that nobody knows. You're making stuff up just to get mad. You're mad at him. You called Dave a glory seeker and say that he doesn't care about other people. I mean, that doesn't feel like the truth. Is that just how mad you were in the moment?
That's in the moment.
Yeah.
Just in the moment.
Yeah.
You hear that, you got to be a little embarrassed.
Oh, no, I'm embarrassed. It was
Really?
just in the moment, yeah.
I mean, that one feels, especially given how much Dave does care about other people and does these things.
He does.
That feels like a low blow. A little. Like, said he doesn't care about
We're
people.
fishermen. We're allowed to give a low blow once in a while. We're fishermen. It was this big.
And you can roll with it, right?
I can definitely.
I know the truth.
I said
He
it
knows
exactly
it don't
as he
mean it.
did.
Yeah.
That's it. That's in the moment, and that was a business moment.
He
not
says,
a
I'm a
friendship
happy
moment.
man short of French.
You do though, in the moment, go out and catch a fish right in front of them, and you turn right to Paul and say, Karma's a bitch.
That's it.
Hilarious.
In the moment.
Well, that's how it is.
Yeah. Did you feel that in the moment? Or were you just
Hell
like,
yeah.
oh my God, I'm so mad right now. I can't believe it
No,
worked out
that's
this way.
how it goes.
You're a better man than
When
I.
you work hard, that's what happens.
I would have thrown a tantrum at that. Like the idea of like, I left this boat because I feel like I'm too good for it at this point.
You want to get back at someone?
Yeah.
Right in the pot.
I know, but I think I would have just had this like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Of all the days for him to catch a fish and not me, it's got to be today. It's got to be the day after the breakup, for God's sake.
You would almost think, and it wasn't,
That was
scripted.
Right.
Right?
Not scripted.
Not scripted.
Not edited.
Not at all.
Not
That
messed
happened
with.
right
Hand to
then.
God. Nobody messed with that.
Do you
That's
know
how it went
how many
down.
people
Right.
asked that question? Was that made up?
Right.
No.
No, 100%.
100%.
I think that would make me even, well, no. If that had been made up and I were you, I'd be even more mad.
That's
Like,
karma.
oh, wait, you're making this up now in order to make me look bad? But
Yeah, but
it
we don't
really
have a
happened.
choice, even if that was. But
We're
that's
not
not what
still.
happened.
We're not actors. You could see
Right.
it right there. When I caught that fish,
Yeah.
what I was saying with them looking over, that's real.
Yeah. No, you can tell. It is funny. You guys may not be actors, but you do have like a middle school quality to you all with the drama and the back and forth and the, needling each other. I got daughters in middle school. There's an element of middle school to watching you guys.
Do you know what this show is? This show is Desperate Housewives with fishing rods. That's what I
Have
think.
you always thought of it that way?
After I watched it, yes.
Yeah. You're just like, oh
Absolutely.
my God, what are we doing out here? Because people,
When we watch it, that's
Right.
what we say.
well, I would think so.
Oh my
Like,
God.
we're here in Gloucester. I don't know if people can see behind us. We're here in Gloucester. It's beautiful. It's summer. It's awesome. You can see the water and all this. But I've been around Gloucester. There's some tough people here. And the fishermen are pretty tough dudes, I would say, in general. And you can see that throughout. There's some hard scrabble guys.
They're the best of the best here.
Is there any sort of, I don't know,
Hardcore.
any irony that these hardcore, hard scrabble guys are, as you said, desperate housewives on fishing boats at the same time? That there's all this drama?
They're not the Desperate Housewives.
We
but
are
just taking
on the show.
the drama portion of it.
Right.
But nobody, if we just went fishing, all worked together and caught fish, nobody would watch this. Everybody's watching the show for the drama first and then for the fishing second. No drama, no ratings.
But also no fish, no ratings either, right? Like you got to see the
100%.
fish get caught.
Yeah.
The fish have to play. I mean, they're like
Fish
another
play
character.
a role, but people would rather see a couple less fish and more drama.
I think you got to have some respect for the
Need
fish.
some
I mean, they're like a
shark
character
bites.
on the show, right? I mean, the fish play a role.
They do.
They exacerbate the drama, which I like.
Have to have it.
I mean, you would think though that would take you some time to figure out, a few seasons. Like, hey, I got to find a way to needle these guys and get some drama. But
Oh, it finds its way on
you
its own.
guys do it like
finds its-
instantly.
It's
it finds-
easy.
I mean, again,
easy.
we talked about it,
It's
season
easy.
1, episode 1, and Marciano's like, tricky Dave, there he is.
Right
looking
away.
Sneaky Dave. Like, that's like the first thing we ever hear. So
And then it
he had
builds
just a
upon it.
sense for it, right?
Yes, and then it builds upon it.
So,
Once something gets exposed, drama, whatever it may be,
It could be a
they enhance
one-liner,
it.
then it's there forever.
yeah. And then,
And it's fed off of.
right. And so then you get to go back and forth. And that must have
Then
been
it's-
cool in ensuing seasons. Once you've seen it and once you know what the other guys have said about you.
Oh, yeah.
Right now
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Oh,
or
yeah.
do the producers come to you and be like, hey,
No,
guess-
they don't
guess
tell
what
us.
they
It
said
just
about you
comes
over
out.
here.
You're getting to see what happens behind the closed doors.
Right.
later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and there's sort of a middle school gossip element to that
Oh,
as
100%,
well,
yeah.
right?
100%.
Yeah, it's like now with the social media, and the next thing you know, these kids all know everybody who's talking about
Mm-hmm.
them and who's hanging out without them and what everybody's saying about them. That's got to be a little bit weird, given that most of your life is just spent fishing normally, as you said, almost in isolation. Take some getting used to.
It did. I mean, but we chose to be on a reality TV show, and we kind of knew what we were getting into. And as time went by,
We signed up for it.
episodes, seasons, we realized, wow, there's really a lot of drama involved. But we realized that's part of it, and we accepted that.
You couldn't have really known that ahead of time, though.
No.
Watching other TV shows, though, there's always drama.
But you knew enough.
We didn't know
This
it
is
was going to be like this. We didn't know it was
You
going to be
couldn't
this.
have known. I mean, like, it's easy to say but I would think, like,
To feel it
to
is
actually
different.
feel it, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, Dave, especially for you, where you end up getting a lot of hate from people, that's easy to say you're ready for that. I said I was ready for that in my
No, I
profession
took
in
it
the radio.
personally.
Yeah, and then,
it's
then you
hard.
get
It's
it.
hard not to.
Yeah,
You get on social media, and the producers specifically told me, just don't read it, don't engage.
right.
That's the way it is.
Could you do that?
And these guys would all say, don't engage. Just let it go by.
Don't
And it's
even go
hard.
on it.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, I imagine it's almost impossible. You got to go read it at some point, right?
Yeah.
Everyone says they don't,
You do.
but then they do.
You do.
Yeah, and it's got to hurt. It hurts
Yeah.
a little bit because you're like, I feel like I'm a good guy. I feel like I'm a good guy. Why is everybody so mad at me all the time? It's got to be annoying.
A lot, and like I said, I got a lot of personal messages when I caught a fish and Marciano didn't.
Right.
People saying that
Oh,
I took that
God.
fish away from him.
Yeah.
And because of that, he's not going to be able to put food on the table. How do you respond to that?
Dave took his fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about what kind of response would you get?
I got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we all
did. Every
Yeah.
single
You get-
one of us.
You get grief or more support?
I get there's a lot of people grief, but I get a lot of support too.
Yeah.
A lot.
Sympathetic.
Even Marciano
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Even Marciano got negative stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. The rabid anti-smoking group, I'm sure, is very
Oh,
upset
my
with
God.
them nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, the American
The
Heart
nicotine
Association.
vote.
Yeah. The American Heart Association.
How about
has
the
a-
egg sandwich that he ate was down his shirt? It was the best ever.
It is pretty great. And
Oh.
it is one of my favorite things. I do like the drama. I admit it. Just like everybody
Sure.
else. There's no other... I wouldn't just watch you guys catch fish.
No, you would not.
I like watching you catch fish, but I need the drama. And this breakup really ends up being such a key part of it. The other thing, though, then we get Monty, right? And we kind of talk through some of the problems that he's having. And I actually think a lot of the drama seems to come from Scott, because Scotty's not happy about it. And I don't really blame him. Like,
Very threatened.
well, do you blame him?
Well, Bill hired somebody to come and help him because his mate sucks. Bottom line,
is that really
his
what it is?
mate sucks. Period.
Is he still doing this?
No.
Did he do it much
Long gone.
longer?
He's somewhere in the Carolinas.
Really?
I don't
Like,
think he's fishing.
It just wasn't.
No, he's all blah, blah, blah done.
This isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
No.
If he had a different mate at that time, do you think he would have been having more success?
I think so. Someone that was positive
Someone, yes.
and someone that wanted to do it. It's all you need is someone that, like Sando didn't know anything, but he
Right.
wanted to do it, right?
Yeah.
And Dave
And he
taught
proved
him the
himself.
way he wanted him to learn. And they're like a dream team. Like that's all you need because you spend all your time together.
So I wonder how, and I guess we'd have to ask Monty this question. He's not here, but I wonder how you can handle, like, he's doing tryouts. Like, what happened on the tryout with Scott? Like, at some point, he probably should have recognized, like, I got to get this guy off my boat.
I think he knew Scott.
But that's also got to be hard, right? Like,
Scott
firing
was-
people's
while.
hard.
Scott was with them for a little while.
Firing people's
Yeah, I
hard.
was with him on and off for a long time.
Maybe not for Dave, but for other people, with feelings.
Scott
Firing
would
people's
be
hard.
around.
Yes.
It's hard.
It's
it
very
really is.
Even with someone, even on day one, it's
Yeah.
just hard to tell someone, sorry, you're not gonna
It
you're not
really
gonna work
does.
out.
It's awful. And I've had to do it. And a lot of those people hate me to this day. And I get it. Like you have to do the hard thing sometimes. And maybe that was not who, like you said, Monty was kind of nearing the end for him fishing. Maybe
It was
maybe
really
he just
tough.
couldn't
He
do that
doesn't
at
have
that
a
point.
fish all year now.
Right.
We're at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's November.
Well, and I'll tell you what, let's say we were watching this show and he did fire him at that point. Don't you think the reaction might have been like, wait a minute, buddy, you're not catching fish and you're firing your deckhand? And that's sort of the reaction we had to Ralph when he fires Pirate of like, hey, dude, you're in charge. You can't just fire the guy because it's not working out. You think
But you look for an escape. That's your way of pointing fingers. Letting him go is the reason we're not catching fish. It's always easy to point fingers, but it's very difficult to point fingers at yourself.
Right. Yeah. Well, then you kind of get on there and Scott is, I mean, he goes so far. He's like, he's treating us like Googans. Like we don't know what we're doing. But I mean, it feels like that's almost kind of what they needed, right?
No, they were the only ones not to catch one all year.
Yeah. Until you were on the boat.
And
then you catch a gigantic
Well, I had to change everything.
Yeah. So like, what does that mean?
Swivels, line, attitude. Pay attention to your boat. Throw the binoculars away and then fish.
It really is.
And boom and boom. Game over.
It's remarkable that somebody would have that much success
remembered
it.
And realized that because he used to be one of the best. Mm-hmm. He used to catch them all the time. He never paid attention to anyone else. Mm-hmm. And he realized, you know what? He was right.
Yeah. Lead sled dog, the view's always the same, right? You just keep on running.
Gave me a little rough time here and there and said things, but at the end of the day, he's like, he was right.
So did he have success after that? Like once you left, was he able to carry that forward?
The next year, he caught a few fish, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
He was able to kind of take those lessons.
Yeah.
He said do okay.
Yeah.
And I forget, does he end up having Scotty back with him the next year?
I don't know.
Don't
remember.
know.
Scotty was back.
He was.
Did he come back?
Yep. Remember they lost that big fish after that,
after
10-hour
6 hours or something.
Billy threw the harpoon.
All of you can go watch that. Season 2 is available as well, and hopefully
You've
eventually.
got to see that one.
Season 2 is on YouTube as well.
Oh, it's awesome.
Besides the tape measure hitting Marciano in the forehead, that episode where Billy throws the harpoon and severs the line and the fish swims away.
Mm-hmm.
That was sad. I cried. The wife
cried?
Yeah. I felt so bad.
I cried.
Yeah, because they
I teared up because, I knew, because Billy's like, what, did I hit the leader?
Unbelievable. You guys also, in this episode, get to see what's going on in the hard merchandise as well, and some more messing up, right? I mean, there's sort of a theme to some of this. In this case, it's Jay, who hadn't really messed up since episode 1. Dave just eviscerated him on the boat, and you get the sad shots of Jay, so sad. But here he is, he's messing up again. And in this case, this one seems worse because it's not in the moment. There are things he could have been doing on the boat, sort of along the way. What is it? He didn't feed the reel right into the
the line. Yeah, he missed it.
He skipped. He missed
an eye.
So I'm looking at these things. The little notches on those are eyes, right?
Yes.
And they've got to go through each one
guides.
of them.
Guides.
Anybody can miss a guide.
Yeah, you can miss it. That's all.
But he did. And then you have to, restring it essentially?
Yeah, you got to cut it and
That's all,
redo
not
it.
a
No
big
big
deal.
deal.
Just like forgetting to put the landing gear down in the airplane. Not a big deal.
You do those, what are they called? Hard landing?
Yeah, belly landing.
You can do a hard landing.
Not a big deal. We made it here.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
only one wing blew up.
Do you think that they're a good fit for each other? Because
Yes.
that's the thing I always come back to is I think somebody who's not as happy and positive and sort of, I don't know, happy-go-lucky as Jay. I don't know how many other people you mentioned, that he would get some hate as well. Dave would get some hate as well. I could see how he'd be tough to be around all day and the yelling and what do you call them? The Marciano meltdowns.
The M&M.
Jay's kind of the perfect speed to deal with that. Don't you think?
Yeah, Dave. I mean, I have
I
never
think Jay's
fished just for watching.
phenomenal.
Yeah. But Dave is very short fused. Especially if he's not catching fish. And there's a lot of times where he wasn't catching fish.
Well, I noticed this on the radio. He gets very negative and he can't sit still.
Oh, yeah. He moves
he
around.
can't anchor in a spot and sit there for the day. And we try.
What do we, go ahead.
We try to tell him, Dave, just come right here, anchor right here and be patient. He can't do it. It drives 2 hours. He's lifting his anchor and leaving.
Even
and
if
we all catch him.
And we all catch him. And we all have caught him, and he'll still move a great spot.
Time and time again.
Yeah.
And then he'll go someplace
don't
where
get
nobody's at, but it's a desert. But you just left the fish farm.
He's like just to come back to blackjack. He's like the guy who gets up from this table's cold. We're all
And the
winning.
next guy
I'm going to the
hits.
next one.
Yeah,
I can't get a blackjack. She's
Well, you should have stayed where you were.
21 every time. And he should have waited it out.
You know, it does pay off. Then he started to do his very own thing all by himself, not asking anybody anything, and he did well.
Yeah.
Went out, paid attention, put his head down. Like I showed Bill, put your head down, shut up and fish. And that's what Dave did, and he didn't listen to anybody. He went and did his own thing, and he caught him his way, which was good for him and Jay.
As we've said, it's now been a while. I mean, almost 15 years since you guys did this. You used a word, one of you guys did in the rewatch. I forget who said it, but one of you guys used the word legacy in talking about how all of this lives on, right? And the future generations will always know how you guys comported yourself on these fishing boats. Do you think about your legacy of how you will be thought of? Does that word ever enter into your mind of, hey, how do I want people to see me?
I never have thought of it because I have a lot of years left.
But this is going to go on. Like you said, this is going to go on for a while.
My legacy lives on.
After we're gone, people will still, just like Seinfeld or Friends, that's decades old, it's still going on. I'm pretty sure this is going to be reruns forever. Well, New Year's Day, Christmas.
I hope so.
I do think about it a little bit as you go through the show, because there are people on the show, on the cast, or other people that show up, and you guys have mentioned it over and over during the rewatches, who have since passed on. And we've mentioned a bunch of times the pirate just passed away just a few weeks ago. I mean, just very, very recently.
Yeah, Duffy.
And so the way people talk about him, I mean, it's very, very nice, right? Everyone has said every time his name has come up, oh, Pirate was a great guy. Oh, Pirate was awesome. Oh, there's this. Versus if somebody else had passed away on the show, maybe who everybody didn't like, it's a very different conversation. It's a lot of, well, God rest his soul, but.
That'll be me.
You think so?
That'll be me.
Do you think so?
I have my haters, and I have people that like me.
Yeah, but that's Hollywood haters, not real life haters.
So you don't care that much about the legacy.
I don't. You know what? When people come down on the dock to see him, to see me, they're all so polite.
Yeah, I believe it. Well, and unfortunately, so are you guys the entire time here. We didn't get any fireworks. We didn't get any fighting. Everybody just kind of loves each other now. A bunch of old men just hanging out together.
We've been like this the day after that.
telling fishing tales and everything else.
Yeah, we've been helping each other ever since.
You guys are great. Thank you. Thank you again for sitting down. That is another episode of Wicked Tuna Real Talk. You can watch all of the original episodes of the show. All the seasons are all available now on the Wicked Tuna channel on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Please check out the rest of the Wicked Tuna stuff here on the YouTube channel.